Adjutant online. Registry.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another GGvision Starcraft 2 Colosseum with me, Sebastian Sjöberg, and our Gladiator of the week, mouzHasu obs, mouzHasu for short, fighting here on Shattered Temple versus Millennium player DieStar. Yes, we've seen him before on this channel. He is a Terran player from Poland that joined Team Millennium in February this year, and since then he has vowed to make a name for himself, and he certainly has. So I've grown to like him a lot, and here in this matchup, which is part of the ESL Cup, we will definitely see a very ferocious battle, so I've been told. And this is a best of 5, and this is perhaps one of the more climactic moments, at least so is the rumor. And here we see a pylon going down, and on the contrary for DieStar we see an interesting supply depot placement. This is what I would call a defensive supply depot placement, because the more economy and hence aggressive placement would be somewhere right here, so that the SV could immediately get back to mining, not losing any time at all. Here rather we see him placing it towards the edge, losing some precious seconds in returning to mining. This is of course for scouting purposes later, so that's one of those small things, and the little things, they do stack up, they matter a lot. Barracks going up here for DieStar, and a gateway for mouzHasu. mouzHasu has been quite a Gladiator of the week here to put his first mark on the GGvision Colosseum, going for gas here quite quickly. We'll see if that will go towards anything other than the obligatory warp gate upgrade here, scouting his opponent. DieStar, who is, if I haven't mentioned it already, from Poland, and has begun to quickly climb the ladder. He participates in many weekly cups like the Go for SC2 Cup and many others, such as this ESL Cup as well. And you should have a look out for him, ladies and gentlemen. He will make quite a stellar foreign S-class Terran within the year to come, I'm sure. And over here in Hasu land we see the cybernetics core going down. Nothing unusual as of yet. Chrono boosting away. They are not at all even in harvesters, though. mouzHasu has been using the Protoss Chrono boost to the best of his ability, being 19 probes, 4 ahead of the 15 SCVs of DieStar. Now scouting away over here. Of course, here we see a tech lab for DieStar. That could definitely result in a Reaper, yes indeed. Here on this map with so many ledges, you can jump down here, take a shortcut up here, and be all up in mouzHasu's business. mouzHasu should be, if not prepared, then at least be aware of the risk. This is nothing unusual whatsoever. We'll just have to see how he can counter it. His Stalker should be out fairly soon. Yes indeed, it should be able to meet and greet this Reaper as it comes along. And other than that, we just see a quick second gas for Hasu and a second gateway. Here comes the Reaper, I do believe. Yes, let's put a follow on him and just see what happens. There's only one Stalker out, I do believe, for our German Protoss player. Now one probe goes down. I'm sure he'll be able to get a second or a third at the very least. But it seems like he is wisely and bravely retreating out of there. He just wanted to poke and see what he could do, see if there were any shenanigans up. Second gas now going down for Hasu, and we'll see if he follows this up with 2 more warp gates in a standardish fashion, goes for an expansion or a quick robo. We've seen that from him as well. He can be whatever he needs to be to win. And here we see DieStar now adding barracks, and it seems like he's continuing with this strategic placement of his supply depots. That is something not many Terran players do, and now getting his expansion up as well, fortifying it with bunkers. This all very well lends us to believe that DieStar, at least in this matchup or against such a ferocious opponent as mouzHasu, is very defensive and very mindful about taking it slow and steady, and be very aware of his surroundings and making sure that he's safe. So that's not a bad idea at all. Of course, mouzHasu, 4th place winner of the Team Liquid Star League, now going for his own expansion, getting his sentries out. He's got 2 of them and 3 Stalkers, as well as 28 probes. And now chasing away that Reaper that was hanging out there earlier at the Salnaga Watchtower. And maybe he can, DieStar that is, squeeze a win out of what is, if not a better player, then at least a more well-known and feared player. DieStar is definitely the underdog here, and we see mouzHasu going for his robotics facility. That should definitely pump out a observer first. Anything else would be quite unorthodox, even though we see the marauder count increasing for DieStar. It doesn't look like he's planning for any early combat. No, on the contrary, getting a second bunker and saturating his expansion. Here getting an engineering base, seems like he will be getting ahead with those upgrades. mouzHasu of course hasn't started any upgrades of his own, getting his first factory. I'm sure that's for starport purposes only. Yes, indeed, here we see a starport and a reactor to be swapped with that as soon as possible. Now is mouzHasu getting his expansion up. That is of course considerably later than DieStar, who never really wanted to do any early aggression. That Reaper was there only to scout and do some general harassment, and above all see if mouzHasu was planning the same. Seems like he's replacing this watch here, those two stalkers with a probe. No, is outgoing scouting. Here we see the observer now flying in, getting a good look of everything that's going on, and no further tech choices for our Polish Terran player DieStar as of yet, fortifying even further with turrets. Good against Colossus, but of course perhaps better against Dark Templars. And here we see the Reaper again, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for missing that earlier. And how many workers did he manage to kill? Well, there was one before and now another one. So one worker went down here. That's, well, I guess that puts Hasu somewhat ahead in the overall resource intake and outtake in that exchange. But seems like the Reaper is out of the game. And by the way, I do miss seeing more Reapers. They in the early beta, I think Morrow was one of the first players who really put forward a mass Reaper early game rush strategy. Of course, it's kind of gimmicky and perhaps not overly balanced or anything, but it was fun to see. Now we see a Ghost Academy. That's always fun to see, going down for DieStar, but I doubt we'll see any TLO nukes. That's only for Ghosts and EMP, I'm sure. And of course sniping those pesky Templars, which we can be sure will be arriving shortly. Now mouzHasu has obliterated the rocks over here. We'll be going for very safe corner expansion. Has DieStar done the same? He's doing it right now, clearing his own rocks. It looks like we are gearing up towards a macro game, ladies and gentlemen. Here's some SCVs taking some light damage, and that's of course always fun to see. And yes, indeed, here's a drop that did not manage to do much at all. I think there was only 7 or 8 Marines in here, and again looking at the lost workers kill tab, no more workers. So mouzHasu very skillfully deflecting anything that DieStar is throwing at him as of yet. Looking at the production tab, we do see Zealot legs and armor for our Protoss player, as well as 3 more gateways. Now the Terran player is getting his own expansion about the same time as our German Protoss Gladiator here. And we also see various upgrades for the Terran infantry on the way, as well as Viking production. And now the Templar archives for our Protoss here in yellow. Of course, as I've been saying all throughout this week, where mouzHasu has been our Gladiator, he is not too fond of the Colossus as a unit. He finds it to be boring, and that's one of the more interesting things about mouzHasu, in my opinion. And here we see now 3 more barracks being deployed for Polish Terran player DieStar. mouzHasu, he prefers his Templars, his feedback and his Psystorm, and we've seen that throughout this week, how he's been using it very proficiently, especially in the game versus Morrow. Those feedbacks and those infestors, they were a beautiful sight, art-like almost. Now we see that mouzHasu's got a very good idea whatever is going on throughout the map, but the map control right now belongs to DieStar. He is the one out and about, and only now going for concussive shells. We've seen many Terran players waiting a very long time with getting that, and we saw players Boxer even forgetting it, but here we saw a nice snipe of those Templars. And that was definitely a little sneak and peek that paid off well for DieStar here, being able to take down a few expensive units. But however, stimming, he should be able to heal those up with medivacs, but looking at his medivacs, he's only got 2 of them, so he needs to definitely here pump out some more medivacs. I believe he's only got 1 starport still. Yes, and now getting out another medivac there, but he should really consider getting more starports, because otherwise his Terran forces will not have the medivac energy they need to heal up after the next battle, and then the next one, and so forth. That's something we often see, that Terran players choose to forego having sufficient medivacs, and that's of course because they want to have sufficient amount of Colossus, none of which have really appeared in the game yet, but of course you must always expect it. So that is again the very crucial unit composition game that it's all about. Now going for Ghost Energy here, meanwhile getting armor upgrade level 2 for mouzHasu. That will of course make all his gateway units very resilient towards marine fire, and they only have 1-1 as of yet, so the one that is ahead in the upgrade game is definitely ahead generally. And we saw in a previous game on this channel, Empire Kaz, truly show that having sufficient medivacs, even if your Viking production is somewhat on the low side, can really win you the battle. It's about the little things and getting the composition just right, and that's as much down to skill as to having a bit of luck in your crucial engagement. Here we see a very gateway-based army of mouzHasu. Again, looking at the units tab, he's got 6 Templars out already. He really loves his Templars and going for 25 Zealots and more observers. Of course, DieStar is making a good job out of sniping them, but still, he is very conscious about being very aware. And again, DieStar has positioned himself very nicely, and again sniping that observer, that is a crucial thing, and almost getting this one as well. Most players, or many of them at very least, often allow observers to live. They just don't have the eyesight for it, I suppose, to scout that little blur. See, they hardly show up at all. And this really puts mouzHasu on the back foot. Intelligence is like a third resource in StarCraft, and also of course observers are quite costly. Looking at the income tab, we have a dead even 71 count for both players. mouzHasu getting 72 now and taking his gold. And again, looking at the production tab, getting blink and armor upgrade level 2. Meanwhile, DieStar is not much behind, getting his infantry upgrade level 2 as well, now defending his forward position. He will try to fortify this with turrets. That's always good against Colossus, against observers, and should there ever be DTs in the game, which isn't a far-fetched idea at all. Now he's getting his own gold, so if mouzHasu will do the same, they will continue to be dead even in resource intake. And now exchanging a Stalker for, I believe it was a Marauder, and now we're talking medivac count here, 6 medivacs up, and getting a planetary fortress here on his expansion. The upgrade game continues. Seems like here we will see, if not one, but then only a handful of really epic battles that will determine the outcome of this game. Players are stalling back and forth. And here we see a couple of zealots going down quite unceremoniously. Actually, they might be able to get out ahead. Sorry, my miscalculation, but I believe that DieStar is coming in here with the entirety of his army, being able to cancel this little attack. But yeah, not too bad damage inflicted. Here we see now 14 workers killed so far for mouzHasu, which puts him well in the lead in that count. But he's yet to take in his own gold expansion, and he should definitely consider that like right now. Ghost Energy on the way, further Templars, and a second robotics bay. So I guess that Colossus production is not too far away. He could of course go Immortals as well, but it's looking like Colossus to me, considering how many Marines are in this humongous infantry death ball of DieStar. Now clearing out the obstacles in his way up here on the right edge of Shattered Temple, and these stalkers are blinking away. mouzHasu is an excellent blinker, but that of course means that he, as soon as he's got a few stalkers and isn't engaged in any major battle, he uses a handful of them to just inflict a bit of damage to drive the momentum. But again, the observers keep going down. Now this is a hallmark of expert play, and that's a semi-beautiful storm. It did scratch the paint on a few of those Marauders, but only to get EMP'd in return. So here we see another storm. Oh no! 3 beautiful EMPs. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That is boss play. A true Brotos needs to be able to do that, and DieStar certainly is one of them. Now he has commenced Colossus production, thermal lands on the way, and the first Colossus will soon join what will most definitely be an epic battle. Here Stalkers clashing with about half of the, scratch that, a third of the infantry ball, and this is truly a fearsome army, ladies and gentlemen. They have such DPS, damage per second, and can inflict serious amounts of damage so fast, faster than anything in this game, I do believe statisticians have figured out. Having a look at unit stab now, we only have 1 Colossus so far, 11 Stalkers, 9 very bad and evil Templars, sentries, as well as 33 Zealots. DieStar is positioned here and is meanwhile taking the 9 o'clock natural expansion. And it seems like DieStar will have something to say about that. And now we see a bit of a clash coming on, another observer being sniped, and Guardian Shields, Colossus and Force Wheels just cutting them in half. But is it enough, really? The Stalkers are all that are left standing, and another Size Storm, and another Size Storm. If he has one more, he can truly punish these Marines all the way to hell, but it seems like that was all he had. He might be able to take down this gold expansion now, but a counterattack from mouzHasu will try to prevent that. Again, look at how fast this army is dealing damage, ladies and gentlemen. I think the Nexus will survive though. Had he had 1 or 2 more storms, this could all have been avoided from mouzHasu. And here we see 1 more storm, finally turning the tide of battle. But this Colossus might go down. Yes, indeed it does. So that was a costly exchange with both players. I suppose you have to say that mouzHasu came out ahead, especially now that he can take down the Medivacs, but still. You saw just how resilient those Marines were. Had there been more storms, but there weren't any. So DieStar, yes, he lost that battle. Is now down to 126 supply, but definitely it was very close indeed. And had he been more proficient with his EMPs, maybe he could have taken down the gold expansion and taken a winning lead. Now going for weapons level 3 for his Marines, as well as mouzHasu doing the very same. And here we see a Dark Shrine being constructed. And again, they are keeping it fairly even in the expansion count. DieStar is somewhat ahead, and now we see further harassment going down. Here a Dark Templar killing mules at this planetary fortress. 1 scan there, yes, takes it down. And here we see many production facilities being constructed, but this Marine Force and Marauder should be able to take them down without further difficulty. So mouzHasu is trying to truly use his mobility that his pylon warpins enables to hold DieStar back and kill the workers he can and so forth. But again, DieStar is a very defensive player. His posturing out here in the middle of the map was above all a defensive measure in order to allow him to expand. Maybe this Templar will be able to do a nice Size Storm or feedback, or just die. Well, DieStar truly a master of the defensive play, I must say, and that I would argue is one of the harder ways to play Terran. Like QXC, and there's a beautiful EMP going down on this force to hold that fort. But there are many ideas about how to play Terran best. Famous North American player QXC says that if you're not attacking as a Terran, then you're losing, and DieStar, he is more of a defensive player. These Colossi are tearing apart, but you see Size Storms being exchanged with EMPs, further Size Storms, but there's a very beautiful concave here for DieStar. The Size Storms are all that are making the difference, and the beautiful EMPs on those Medivacs. The Colossi and a handful of Stalkers managed to take this battle, and these, I believe they are 3-2 now, almost 3-3 Zealots, will be able to cut apart whatever is left, but I am not sure that mouzHasu can really afford to attack into this as of yet. He needs another round of reinforcements, and here they do arrive. Templars are on their way, Vikings clashing into Colossus, but you see just how mighty they are with the thermal lance upgrade and the blink. Here you see a beautiful combination of Protoss ability in sync, ladies and gentlemen. Blinking forward, covering with the Colossus. If he only had more Templars, this wouldn't even be a battle anymore. And it seems like mouzHasu may be winning this, taking down the Ghost Academy, slaughtering supply depots. but I wouldn't say that DieStar is out of it yet. He has so many production facilities, he can dish out an army very fast. And here we see the Psystorms. The Psystorms again making all the difference, and he can always feed back these medivacs as well, and I would say that mouzHasu has it, taking down the expansion in a beautiful display of destructive capabilities. Another Psystorm pushing them back, but I think he's all but out of Psystorms right now. He needs more Templars. This Expeditionary Force cannot win this game alone. Here we see more Zealots warping in, perhaps from the north, and now it seems like it might be the final battle on this threshold. The Stalkers are just blinking away and avoiding combat as much as can, just inflicting damage and damage upon damage, taking down barracks and simply extending his advantage. 137 supply to the 117. Looking at the income tab, we see that DieStar is down to 44 SCVs towards the 73 probes of DieStar, and unit-wise, 8 Ferocious Templars, 4 Dark Templars, some of which are now moving out to clean up the rest. 1 Colossus, 9 Stalkers and 12 Zealots. And they're all free now. He even started on his shield upgrade and getting 2 more Colossus to join in. And here we see the harassment continues. He even took down this turret earlier, so now he can commence with this evil DT harassment again. As Artosis says, I hate DTs. There's even a t-shirt that says it, and it's so true. And now the Planetary Fortress will be able to dispatch of this Templar, I do believe. But mouzHasu is now 171 to 122 supply. That is definitely a winning lead, most probably now taking another expansion. And it seems like he's gearing up for yet another battle. I wouldn't really advise attacking this Planetary Fortress. It's not really worth it. And if the Terran can mount a counterattack, he can pinch mouzHasu's forces and kill it, but never mind that. mouzHasu is just too much of a baller Brotos to even care. Master King with Psystorm just softening it up, and the Vikings took down the Colossus in instant, but he just has an infinite supply of Psystorm and feedbacking the Medivacs. Now the gateway units will be able to clean up the rest, and here we see a GG from Millennium player DieStar. Wow, that was a long game, ladies and gentlemen. It was a long macro game, a lot of posturing back and forth. We saw how DieStar was a very defensive player, so mouzHasu chose to not walk into any traps. Millennium played DieStar. He was posturing around here in the middle, allowing him to take more and more expansions around here, but he couldn't really punish mouzHasu for doing the same, so they were more or less even all the time. And then DieStar mounted an attack on this expansion and on mouzHasu's forces, and he very nearly won, but not quite. Had he taken down this expansion, he would have been able to seize that advantage that would have put him in an unloosable position later in the game. But mouzHasu is our Pro Gamer Gladiator of the Week for a reason, and the reason is that he's a boss. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, Friday, there will be yet another commentary, and on Saturday, a surprise of some sort. I look forward to showing you that. Thanks for watching. As always, your comment, your feedback, your criticism, that's my stim pack. Again, thanks so much. See you again tomorrow. GG for now.
Adjutant online.